So I am going to really challenge myself on my reps. Oh, shit.
Alba Boström from Sweden, 133.5 kilos, her third world record. And there it is.
Come on, let's fight, come on.
She is fighting to lock it out and manages to do so.
The 2024 edition from Sweden, Alba Boström.
Good morning, guys. Hope you're doing amazing. It's Monday, week 4, meaning heaviest week of this program. The next program is going to be peak in progression up to world. So this is like my last week of heavy building, trying to build a strong foundation that I can show later on in the next program. So it's an important day, not because I'm gonna try to specifically like hit a PR, max out or anything like that, specifically because I'm gonna try to build today. So I am going to really challenge myself on my reps. I got SPD, so like last week, bench and deadlifts and the single and squats are just gonna be technique work, like getting a good execution, training that, and then for the reps on the squats, that's where I'm really gonna challenge myself. I don't really care what the weight ends up being. All I really want is to make sure that I build a foundation, like I build strength, I gain confidence from this session, and that could be any weight whatsoever. I won't be talking too much in this video, so this video will probably be a shorter one because I just want to reserve my energy for my top sets for every set and make sure I have the energy for that. But my goal is to have fun, get good execution and build. That's pretty much it. So let's get going. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Let me just catch my breath. All right. Okay, I feel so dead. But what a good session, like honestly. Oh shit. Sorry. Like 8s and 7s are so hard. I feel like I'm pretty well conditioned. Like it's not that much that it's cardio anymore for me. It's more so that it's just like heavy. And when it gets heavy, that's obviously like, you use so much power that you need to be able to get so much more air. Yeah, it's, okay, so I just had to, my camera storage ran out, so I decided to just unload the bar, fix the bench press, and change my clothes because, well, I just don't want to have the t-shirt and the singlets when I do bench because I get a bad grip, and in competition I never struggle with that because the benches in competition, especially at bigger comps, it's always new and very grippy, and I have shock, and the singlet also helps. But so yeah, and also like I found that all of my singlets now are starting to get very tight around my thighs, which I think is a good sign. My knee sleeves also are really tight. Like I can't use the new knee sleeves, so I think my quads have grown, and I'm happy with that. Either way, so happy with the squat. Like I said, I just had to catch my breath. I was dying, but I ended up getting a 10 kilo rep PR plus a volume PR because I did it last week. You remember I did 160 kilos for, hold on, let me take this. So I did 160 kilos for 2 sets, which was my equal 7 rep PR. I've only done 7 reps at 160 once before, which was the block after the junior nationals. So that was in the beginning of October 2024, so almost 6 months ago. And I tried to do 8 reps, but my belt unclipped, so I failed the last one. It was easy, but it wasn't as controlled and it wasn't as deep. It was like very fast, you could say. I did feel very good though. And then since then, I haven't been able to do that. I've struggled with 150 for high reps, and also I was a little bit injured moving into Sheffield, so I never had a high rep block. Last high rep block, I felt a little bit too focused on the single, so I didn't really push the back up, so I was always like tired as well. But you know, so last week I had 7 reps at 160 again, equaling my rep PR for the first time in months, and doing it for 2 sets, getting a volume PR, and I was super happy with that. Meaning, like, if I would have been able to do 3 sets at 160 today, or even like 1 set at 162.5, that would have meant a rep PR, and I would have been happy with it because it would have still meant that I'm stronger than ever. However, ever since that session, I just had this gut feeling. You could call it a vision, I don't know, or premonition. Like I just had this feeling. I've been thinking about 170 a lot. Like I've been thinking about and almost like imagining and fantasizing about doing it. And sometimes that gut feeling and those visions are true, and it means I have the capacity. Sometimes it's just me trying to force things. I was going in today like having that feeling, like the second I woke up out of bed, I was thinking about 170 for 7s and doing it not for 1 set, but for multiple. And I was like, we'll see what's there today. I was super tired when I woke up, but I knew I'd slept like a lot. Like I got a good sleep. I had a good recovery day yesterday. So it felt a little bit like last week. Last week I was also super, super tired when I woke up, but then, you know, energy came back once. A few hours later when it was time for the session. I did 170 for my warm up. Felt super, super heavy to be honest, but I knew that, okay, probably just because I'm not used to it yet. I'm not really warm because like my knees were cracking a little bit, and that happens sometimes in the warm up. Instead I went up to 180, did that felt way better, way more controlled. Did 187.5, really good single. Stayed there because I wanted to be conservative with my single, leave a little bit of room so I could focus on my backups. Because like, for example, when I had my best squat progress ever was like the 2 blocks after nationals, and I did 187.5, feeling around how it did this block for my volume block, and then after that block I did 200, for example. So, and I haven't been up to those weights since then. So basically, like I did 187.5, and I was like thinking, should I maybe now for the backups, because you know, since 170 didn't feel that good in warm-ups, I was like, should I maybe go like 160 for the first back off, and if 160 feels good, I'll just go up, or maybe, you know, if it doesn't, I'll just do 162.5 or do 3 sets at it, and I'll still have a volume and a rep PR in progress? Or do I go 170 immediately, like, because I didn't really know, but I just had this gut feeling when I was unloading the weights from the 87.5, like, you know what? I think 170 is there. It was just speaking to me. And when I have that feeling, when it's not forced, it's hard to explain. Sometimes I can be a bit confused, but usually if my training is feeling shitty most of the time and momentum isn't really going, and I have that feeling I should be able to, it's usually forced. But when I have these weeks of training where things are feeling good, my confidence is up, my energy is up, you know, my routines are up. Overall, I'm very happy, I'm very joyful. You know, I'm not panicking, I'm not overly stressed or anything. When I'm in a good headspace, I can feel very zen and calm. And those times when I have that, it's usually true. And I know I'm in a good headspace right now. I'm feeling very good. I'm very calm. I'm feeling very joyful and grateful every single day. And so I feel like, you know, it's there. So I went 170 and I managed it, and I was so happy with it. Decided to, like, before, like, if you get it, you can't scream, because I want to do another set with it. Did that first, and I felt like depth was, I filmed from the side with my phone too, and depth was kind of good, but it was a little bit borderline. Like, some were deeper than others, and I felt like maybe because I was a little bit nervous with all the reps. So on the next one, I was like, now I know that I can get it. If I can just endure, it will be fine. I could feel my belt buckle touching my thigh a little bit, and I've lost lifts or failed lifts before because of my belt unclipping. I have a new one now that's bigger. I had to move up a size in my belt because I had a small one and I was on the last hole. When you're on the last hole, the belt buckle isn't as secure as if you're in the middle, but still I was a little bit afraid. So I felt like on the first one, because of that, when I would go deeper, my knees caved more. I can endure that very well, but that may cause my belt to like unclip, and then I'm just gonna over fatigue myself. So I was a little bit afraid on the first set. So for the second one, I knew, like, if I can endure, I can get it. Let's go deeper, let's sink it. I just moved the belt a little bit to my right, making sure that it couldn't touch, and yeah, I did it. It was harder, definitely, probably because I was super tired. I just hit a 10 kilo rep PR for sevens, like, that fatigues you. But I managed it. It felt harder, so I was a little bit afraid, like, it was harder maybe, because sometimes when it's hard, you know, what if I cut depth? But I checked the videos and I did really sink it, because like now the belt wasn't struggling with me, so then I did sink into it, and that's also why it was harder, but every rep was down, which is really nice. Didn't have any issues with the belt. The last rep was super hard, but I could still endure it. And then for the last set, I went down to 160 kilos, which is the weight I did last week, and managed that after 2 heavy sets with 170. It was supposed to be heavy today, so I'm very, very happy. I would say it was such a good win. I'm feeling stronger than I've ever been. At the same time, I know, but you can't really think like this. One part of me thinks like this, and it was also what like convinced me that I can do 170 and that it makes sense to go with it, is I've done 170 for 5 reps quite a few times, not super many, but quite a few times. Like, and I think I've done it, I never think I've done it for sets, but my 5 rep PR is 177.5, and I've done 170 for 5s. I've always felt like I have maybe 1 or 2 reps left in the tank. It's just like I'm supposed to do a set of 5, and then just add 2 more reps to that. Like, instead of staying there for the RP, you just do those 2 last reps. And when I was thinking like that, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. I can do it. That gave me the confidence. And at that time, you may be like, okay, maybe I've been able to do 7 at 170 for a long time, but the fact remains, I've never done it. And I think that's something that I'm gonna have as a takeaway from this video, is you can't be focusing on what you think you should be able to do when it comes to progress, because you're just gonna, like, looking down on yourself, being negative on yourself. I don't think negativity is gonna help you progress. I think being positive and seeing your progress is gonna help you progress. Obviously, you have to know your weaknesses and try to always get better, but that does not mean that you can't be positive about it, that you can't talk good to yourself. And if you're like, nah, you should have been able to do this long ago, like, this doesn't count, it's not even a PR because you probably had the strength. Like, you should be able, if you're really stronger, you should be able to do 180 for 7. You can't think like that, because the fact is, I've never had a day ever where I felt like I could load this for this amount of reps. I never had a day where I felt like I could load it. I rarely have days where I feel like I can load it for 5 or even for 4s, or even for triples, to be honest. And now I could load it for 7. And that means I'm stronger, because I've never had a day where I felt confident in it, like I could do it. And sometimes, yeah, maybe if you max out and you go up to 7s and you're on an amazing day, you have the strength. But this means, because now I had the day, means that not only do I have that show that I had the capacity that maybe we believed that I had, bad. But most importantly, I actually, it means that my level, my baseline is higher. Because now maybe I can do 5 reps or more. Maybe in a few weeks I could do 7 at 177.5. Because previously I could only do 150 for 7s or 8s. That's what I could load. And now I can load 170. And even though I probably think I could have done 7 at 170 a long time ago, I never had a day where I could be able to. Even when I felt even on days where I felt way stronger and better than I did today. So it means that my baseline is higher, and you have to take those kinds of progress. It's like saying, okay, I did 200 kilos on competition on my 3rd attempt, and it was easy. So my strength is probably 207.5. I got 207.5 in me, and then you're like, so if only when I do 210 does it mean that I'm stronger? So when you do 207.5, for example, you're gonna be like, oh no, I haven't gotten stronger because this is what I had in me all the time. No, when you actually get to 207.5 and hit that PR, you're actually stronger than you were before. You always have to think like that. I feel like this is a subject that's hard to explain at one point, but I hope you understand it. This was a good rest for me too, to be honest. Now I feel like get my heart rate down a little bit, so now I can focus more on the bench. And that's pretty much gonna be the end for this video as well. So I won't film the bench, I won't film the deadlifts, because it's super easy and I feel like you've seen it thousands of times. I mostly just wanted to film the squats, the mindset, see what we could get, considering you've been following along on this session for the past 3 weeks, seeing a bit okay, how did it actually go this block? So obviously, bench, we focused a lot on bench and deadlift last week, so I won't film that this week though, but we'll see if it comes up on social media or anything, but I'll probably have the same mindset. I felt more fatigued in deadlifts last week because I pushed more in squats, so I'm gonna try to push as hard as I can and do as well as I can on my back downs on Wednesday for my deadlifts. Same for bench tomorrow, but I know that last week I was way more fatigued after pushing the squats than the week before when I didn't push the squats. So especially since now I've been pushing the squats. So either way, we'll see what happens on the Wednesday session. I'll do my very, very best, but we'll see if I'm maybe a bit fatigued, then I have to adapt to that, because I don't want to do something. I don't want to do the mistake that I did for Sheffield, where I had a block like this. I pushed so hard and hit so many PRs, but then it was mostly because at the end of the week, I still kept pushing on the last weeks of the blocks, sessions of the blocks, and also on the deload, I didn't really deload, but I won't make that mistake again. But still, I want to make sure that I get a lot of good work in, but I don't want to do something super, super crazy so that I risk getting an injury or anything again. Or I didn't injure myself for Sheffield, but I got some pain that I was honestly a bit too afraid, because for me, longevity is more important than pushing everything that I have for me through pain. I won't do that. I will always super deload, make sure the pain goes away and then build up, because for me that's pepper touching with the fastest way to get back. In the end, it's not about winning one meet, it's about being here for many, many meets to come. So that's something I really think about that. So, I didn't want to, I had a gut feeling for Sheffield, and I went way lower than maybe I needed to, just to make sure I got the pain away. And, I don't want to get in that position, because I know I will do the same thing, and then, it will be hard to get back in time. So I need to be careful as well, make sure, every set is good, but also that I'm not overshooting too much. With that said, thank you so much for watching this video. If you're interested in coaching, please click the link below this video in the description, and you can schedule a free call with me if you're interested, and no strings attached in the call, but I would love to speak to you and see if we can help you. Also, thank you so much for watching. Like I said, please like and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on these videos, and I'll see you sometime next week. It's gonna be deload then, so we'll see what we film, but maybe since it's deload, I'll do some technique tips videos instead. But thank you so much. See you in the next one. Time for bench.